So a lot has been said about the president's trips. And in terms of return on investment, the government spokesperson recently said that 2 trillion worth of benefits in deals have been signed with foreign superpowers like UK, US, and China. But there are those who still question these trips, mentioning, the country's economic woes. How do you view this?
Well, I think there's a sense in which even what the government spokesman is talking about is sort of opaque, so to speak. And I think that's where the issue is. And if you compare what President Uhuru Kenyatta used to do and what President William Ruto is doing, I think for President Uhuru Kenyatta, it was quite clear that this is the country where he has gone to. These are the deals that he has, signed, and they are put in the public domain. This is what is coming in. These are the returns on investment. So every other time we saw President Uhuru Kenyatta go out, and of course, the number of trips he made are currently dwarfed by what the current president is doing. We actually used to see a very elaborate paper that is giving us a picture of everything that he has done, which is contrary to what you are seeing today. When a president goes out, you don't have to wait until the government spokesman speaks, As recently as a few months ago, I think the president went to the Silicon Valley. To date, we are still waiting. In fact, he was at the Silicon Valley, and the cabinet secretary in charge of ICT and the digital economy was distributing uniform to Migori youth at Sony Guest House. And we are yet to see, what exactly came out of that. And then number two, it's not a question of, the foreign trips and the return on investment as such. For me, it's a question of what is the bigger picture. It's easy to say that we are going to look for jobs for young men, in this country, which is a good thing. And I think there are a number of families that have so many young men who are looking for jobs. And I think they would care the least where their sons and daughters get the jobs. Yeah. And even that return, the remittances that they'll be making back to Kenya is such a big, big deal. But, there are two sides to this coin. There is what Raila Odinga is talking about, that a president should not, come down to the level of gloating about looking for jobs for young people. The business of the government is to create that conducive environment where investors will have an opportunity to employ more, pay more taxes, and have more people come into the tax bracket. So there's a sense in which whatever Raila Odinga is saying makes sense. Whatever the president says makes sense. But if you situate it broadly from a very neutral point of view, and ask yourself if what Dismas is saying holds water, that we're training human resource and we have some of the best in this country, but then we want to send them to other countries. The question is, what are they going to do in those countries? These are young men and women who are going to be productive in these countries. What would we rather have? Would we rather sign deals that would tell these other countries, like Germany, for instance, that your manufacturing sector is extremely big? And you see, most of these developed countries, what happens is the time when they were giving tax incentives is in the past. So the cost of even manufacturing in the US, of manufacturing a Nike, is very high. In Germany, of manufacturing a German machine, and they're very popular in Kenya, is extremely high. So if you produce human capital in Kenya and send them to Germany, it's a lose-lose situation for both Germany and Kenya. But I can tell, yes. The remittances are so small if you look at what we are doing. Like, we are going to manufacture things in Germany, and then we import them here. It doesn't favor, the balance of trade will eventually not favor us. The most prudent thing I would expect is find a way of creating jobs here. Sign those deals, bring those multinationals, let them manufacture here. The cost of manufacturing here would be far much cheaper compared to the cost of manufacturing there. Now, they're suffering issues to do with climate change. Our president is a champion of climate change in Africa. One of the ways of helping them, instead of selling them land around here for, carbon credit trading, bring their manufacturing companies here. There are so many in China. If you're signing deals with China, why are we helping China be a big exporter of goods in China, and make more Chinese richer, build capital. Yet it is our young men and women who are going there. Some of these things are things that we can actually negotiate better. And I think the president is in a well-poised position to do that. If it was in the interest of this country, we need to break away from the structural imperialism where deals are signed that benefit the center nations and a few people in the periphery nations like Kenya. These are things that need to come back to this country. So if you ask me, you know, we might celebrate, you know, the crumbs that you're getting out of this deal. We might have Kenyans who are very happy that, you know, their sons and daughters are going to work in, you know, Germany, are going to work in China. But the bigger picture is they're not going because they need to go. They're going because circumstances in this country are forcing them to go, because we refuse to create an enabling environment that would attract people who would employ them in this country.
So, allow me to make 3 points. Yeah. Let's go to Tanzania. When